one.
But so you was wearing a fake chain in this picture?
Yeah.
How much?
People gonna think it real anyway because it's me.
So you be wearing fake?
Hell yeah.
What's
I
the
ain't gonna
last-
spend all that money on that jewelry.
That AE chain you got is fake?
Nah, that's real. I ain't gonna cap. That real.
What other fake items do you own?
Both of them chain fake.
Both of them. Them earrings you got on right now?
Fake. They just look good.
Here is something people do not talk about enough. NBA players are some of the easiest targets in the world when it comes to jewelry. And before you say anything, no, it is not because they are dumb. It is because they have generational money and they move fast. When you go from nothing to making $10, $20, $30 million a year, you buy what you want when you want it, without asking too many questions. Jewelers know this. Con artists know this. And the people targeting these players know this better than anybody. Today we are going in on the times NBA players got scammed, robbed, and played when it came to their jewelry. From admitted fakes to million-dollar home invasions to the wildest jewelry story you have ever heard in your life. Let us get into it. Starting things off with Antoine Walker, because out of all the players on this list, this man had the most dangerous jewelry run in NBA history, and he lived to tell about it.
The Celtics' leading scorer and rebounder this season, from the Boston Celtics, Antoine Walker.
Antoine Walker was one of the most explosive forwards of his generation. Three-time All-Star, played for the Celtics, Mavericks, Heat, and earned a ring with Miami in 2006. Off the court, Walker was known for spending big: cars, houses, jewelry. The man loved to live lavish, but that lifestyle put a target on his back. In July of 2000, while still playing for the Celtics, Walker was sitting outside a restaurant on Chicago's South Side when armed men ran up on him and took his cash and jewelry at gunpoint, in broad daylight, on the street. But here is where it gets worse. 7 years later, in July of 2007, Walker is now a veteran and thieves hit him again, this time at his Chicago home. 4 men broke in, bound him with duct tape, locked him in a closet, and held a gun directly to his head while they cleaned the place out. Cash, jewelry, a car, all gone. Walker had to eventually testify against the men in court, and all 4 were convicted. Robbed at gunpoint twice, once on the street, once inside his own home with a weapon to his head. That is not just getting scammed, fam. That is a level of danger most people cannot even imagine. The fact that Walker carried that trauma while staying in the public eye says a lot about what it costs to be that visible in the league. But at least Antoine got justice in the end. What makes the next situation even more frustrating is the player never even knew he was being played until he already handed the money over. Now let us move on to the fake jeweler problem, because this is the scam that runs deepest through the NBA world, and it touches everybody, athletes and artists alike. Lil Baby is not an NBA player, but what happened to him is the exact same move jewelers pull on athletes every single day. He trusted a high-end New York City retailer called Raffaello & Company with a Patek Philippe watch purchase. Pateks go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The watch was fake. When Lil Baby found out, he posted publicly saying, "Raffaello & Company, y'all know better than to sell me of all people a fake." The emphasis is on me of all people, because that is how these jewelers think. They figure if someone is spending that kind of money without asking for paperwork or independent verification, they can swap in a replica and pocket the difference. Lil Durk responded to the whole wave by posting, "Do not blame the rapper or athletes anymore, blame the jeweler for selling them that bogus stuff." He also went on record warning people that a lot of the jewelry celebrities wear is fake and overpriced, and that you need to stick to one trusted jeweler to avoid getting burned. That warning is real, gang, because once trust is established between a player and a jeweler, the jeweler knows they can move differently. And hit that subscribe button real quick before we keep going, because we still got the South American crime ring that was specifically hunting NBA players during road games, and the most unhinged jewelry story in league history coming up next. Now let us get into the South American theft group situation, because this is where things stop being about fake chains and start being about organized crime operating at a professional level. Starting around 2024, the FBI began briefing NBA and NFL security officials about a wave of coordinated burglaries targeting professional athletes across the country. These crews were using drones, signal jamming devices, and pre-surveillance on homes, and they were specifically monitoring team schedules so they could hit the house while the player was at an away game. No cap, these people were studying the athletes like a scouting report. Luka Doncic had around $30,000 in jewelry stolen from his Dallas home. Mike Conley Jr. was at a Vikings game when thieves hit his house and took his jewelry. Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks came home to find his most prized possessions gone. Talen Horton-Tucker lost around $170,000 worth of jewelry from his Los Angeles home. A Memphis Grizzlies player lost approximately $1 million in a single hit. A Milwaukee Bucks player lost an estimated $1.48 million. 7 Chilean men were eventually arrested and charged federally. The FBI confirmed they were part of a transnational South American theft group. According to an NBA security memo, in most cases the homes had alarm systems that were not activated, no dogs were present, and the players were on the road. The NBA responded by telling players to use dogs, remove interior photos from real estate listings, and vet every contractor entering their property. These were not random robberies. These men studied the players, tracked their schedules, monitored their social media, and moved when the moment was right. Charles Oakley actually gave context for how long this kind of danger has existed. He recalled that back in the 90s, going out in Los Angeles or New York with your chain on was genuinely life-threatening. Stick-up crews specifically targeted NBA players. In LA, he said it could happen anytime. The culture of danger around NBA jewelry is not new. It is just more organized now. But in the case of Iman Shumpert, he actually figured out the game before it could play him, which might be the smartest move any young player ever made regarding jewelry. Shumpert was drafted by the Knicks 17th overall in 2011, coming in as one of the most hyped defensive prospects of his class. He understood what it meant to step into money and immediately become visible in New York City of all places. So during his rookie season, Shumpert made a calculated decision to wear fake jewelry on purpose. He said he did it to avoid attracting the wrong kind of attention. He understood that a young player flashing real diamonds in the wrong setting was asking for a problem, so he kept the real stuff locked up and wore replicas. That is not a scam story. That is a street smart story. And honestly, given everything that happened to Walker, the South American rings, and all the home invasions, Shumpert's approach looks like a survival blueprint. But nothing on this list compares to what happened to Tiffany & Company in Orlando in February of 2025, because this is the most unhinged jewelry story involving the NBA ever documented. A 32-year-old Houston man named Jathan Gilder walked into Tiffany & Company at the mall at Millenia in Orlando. He had a red polo shirt on, a red cap, ripped jeans, and a piece of gauze on his nose to obscure his face. He told staff his name was Sean, and that he was there to negotiate a purchase on behalf of a player on the Orlando Magic. Store staff took him straight to the VIP room. They brought out 2 pairs of diamond earrings totaling $769,000. And a diamond ring worth $587,000. Gilder grabbed the earrings and ran. A store employee got injured trying to block him, but knocked the ring out of his hands. Mall cameras caught his vehicle, a rented blue Mitsubishi Outlander. Florida Highway Patrol tracked him 300 miles away on Interstate 10 near Tallahassee, heading back to Texas. When officers pulled him over, they watched him swallow the stolen earrings in front of them, just put them down his throat. In the squad car, a trooper heard him say, "I should have thrown them out the window." At the jail, he asked staff, "Am I going to be charged with what is in my stomach?" An X-ray confirmed foreign objects. Investigators waited 12 days. When the earrings passed through his system, officers recovered them, confirmed the serial numbers, and returned them to Tiffany's, where the master jeweler cleaned and authenticated the pieces. No NBA player was scammed here. But the fact that the Orlando Magic name alone was enough to unlock a $700,000 VIP room tells you everything about how much trust and money are attached to these players at every level. At the end of the day, the NBA world is one of the most targeted communities when it comes to jewelry. Jewelers passing off fake diamonds, organized crews hitting houses during road trips, stick-up artists outside restaurants. The losses are massive, and for every player who speaks on it publicly, there are probably 10 more who got quietly played and never said a word because they did not want the embarrassment. In this game, showing wealth is part of the brand, and that comes with a cost that never makes the highlight reel. And speaking of people exploiting trust and money at the highest levels, click this video right here to see how we cover those stories in full detail.